Assalamualaikum. Hello everyone and welcome to the Sinar Daily's podcast series Sport Matters. I'm your host Adila Jesam. The Sport Matters podcast is a space where we discuss issues related to sports, both in front and behind the scene. In the previous episode, Dedication and Value in Sports, we talked in depth about empowering sports start in school and putting extra work in by changing our sport culture understanding in Malaysia. And for today's episode, Achieving Targets, we have our two para athletes who won multiple gold in the recent 12th ASEAN Para Games Cambodia. But before I introduce them, who wants to win RM 200 ringgit voucher of Al Ehsan? This is brought to you by our telco partner, Red One. So all you need to do is collect all three keywords throughout this program, and then drop all the three keywords at the comments box. As I said earlier, we have two para athletes in the studio today to talk on achieving targets. So let's welcome them in the studio. Hi, Carmen and Fraden. Just look at the camera and say hi. Okay, so welcome to the Sina Daily Sport Matters. Okay, first of all, how are you feeling after the game?
Saya rasa sangat macam berpuas hati lah dengan saya punya pencapaian kali ini di masa dekat Kamboja buat kali ke-7 penyataan.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, we're gonna talk about that more after this. Okay, how about you, Carmen? How are you feeling today?
I guess similar to Frayden, very satisfied, but also quite tired, as you can hear from my voice, which I have lost during the games.
Yeah.
But,
So your game is back to back since the day one?
I mean, I only had 4 events, whereas like Frayden had like 6
Okay.
or 7, I think. But it was just generally quite tiring because of the weather, just the different environment. But ultimately everyone's really satisfied because we all gave it our best. So yeah.
All right, thank you for sharing your emotion today, Freden. Don't be nervous. Okay, let me begin with the icebreaker question. This is a common question. Okay, I bet the audience is eager to get to know you guys better. Okay, let me begin with Carmen. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself, as in your hobby? Are you still studying?
So I recently graduated with a law degree last year from the University of Cambridge. I will be resuming my master's this September. And for hobbies, I don't have a lot of time for hobbies, but when I can, I quite like to read, usually fiction, because my degree already involves a lot of reading in itself. So yeah.
All right, thank you. How about you, Freden? Can you share with us your background, maybe in sports, and then your hobby?
Ya, saya punya di sebalik saya punya cerita ni adalah banyak kepada dalam family saya lah, untuk dengan saya punya kid saya, ada juga tentang membaca macam tu lah, lebih kurang.
You suka membaca, so
betul.
you like reading?
Reading lah, Malaysia punya. Iaitu membaca, dan sampai daripada tu memang banyak kepada life family lah.
So you like to spend your time with your family.
Family.
Are you married?
Ya.
How many kids?
Saat ini ada 2 kid.
Oh,
Dua.
okay, that's cute. Okay.
Yeah.
So one boy, one girl.
Ya, one bagai.
Okay, one pair. That's great.
Yep.
Okay. All right, guys. Good to know everyone. Okay. But on today's episode, we want to talk about your achievement in Para Games, and then the forward game will be on October, which is Asian Game. Well, everybody, please sit tight with me. We will dig more about these two champions in the studio. Okay, before we start to the real question of the day, for your information, on 9th June, our Malaysian contingent have wrapped up their journey of 12 ASEAN Para Games in Cambodia. The event started on 2nd June with 171 events along with 13 types of sports. So the Malaysian Paralympic Council MPC aimed to bring home 33 gold medals from 12 ASEAN Para Games in Cambodia. However, Our team, Malaysian contingent, achieved more than that and brought home 50 gold medals, 38 silver medals, and 34 bronze medals, as you can see on the screen. So the total medal is 122 medals. They finished fourth place out of 11 competing country. So hopefully, our para athlete we will work harder to preserve their performance because the next big challenge awaits in the Asian Para Games in China on October. Well, here are just some updates of the Malaysian contingent. For more updates, make sure to visit www.sinadaily.my. Okay, back to the show. Let's focus on our superstars. Okay, Friden, I want you to share your moments during an APG. Good, happy moments, bad moments. Do you have anything to share?
Uh, uh, kali ini saya rasa dia macam agak lancar lah untuk tentang dalam penyertaan kali ini di Kamboja. Tak banyak benda yang halangan dia tak seberapa sangat lah dalam kejohanan yang lepas-lepas lah. sebelum yang apa sebelum kejohanan atau termasa yang kali ini ya.
So you didn't feel nervous at all because it's too easy for you, right?
Yeah.
Because personally you got 3 gold medal, 1 silver and 2 bronze. Okay, that's the overall medal for himself.
Yeah.
Okay, how about you, Carmen? Can you share your moments? Is there something, something unpredictable happened?
I mean, I think initially I was a little bit disappointed in the first 2 days because although I did win the 2 gold medals in the breaststroke events, but I'm actually not a breaststroker. I train freestyle primarily, and the bronze medal was from the 100-meter freestyle, and I lost by like 0.4 to both number 1 and number 2. So I was quite in that sense disappointed despite getting the gold medals. But I suppose thankfully on the last day with the 50 freestyle, I managed to beat my competitor that I lost to in the previous edition of the games. So generally I would say I am still satisfied.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Freden, back to you. On your overall achievement in the SEA Games, Para Asean Cambodia, who is your rival actually? Which country? Don't mention the name. Maybe you can mention the country.
Dia kebanyakan lebih kepada Indonesia ataupun Thailand lah, antara tu saja. Yang lain
Senang.
cakap ni taklah dia cakap taklah boleh dikatakan senang, tapi kena tu je lah, kena macam tahulah dekat mana
the weakness point. Okay. Alright. Okay. So, Malaysian contingent wrap up with 50 gold medal, and then I don't want to mention the rest of the medal because it's just too much and a lot. Thank you so much, guys. Okay, what do you think about the new talent of para athlete for this year edition? Because I see a lot of new faces. So you guys are one of the seniors in the team. So what do you guys think with the new talents? Can we preserve the victory in the Asian game? What do you think?
Bagi saya yang baru-baru ni, yang bakat baru ni daripada negara lain lah, kita punya tu, dan mungkin agak yalah sebab kita tidak tahu dia punya advantage dia kalah daripada tu yang kita susah nak bagi
to predict the rival.
Ya lebih kurang.
So in your event, do you see a lot of new faces? I mean, like as in other countries?
Actually, no. I would say my main competitors are the older swimmers still. But perhaps in Hangzhou it will be a bit different. There will be, I think that's a good mix of old and new swimmers going into the Asian Games. But I think you mentioned with Malaysia as well, we have quite a few new athletes, and I think they're all doing really well. And I believe that they will also perform very well in the Asian Games, especially after seeing how they've performed under pressure in the Asean Para Games.
All right. Okay. So again to you. So you mentioned you studies overseas and just graduate. Can you share the what are you study, and then can you share the system, the education system and the sport system at your
Okay.
place?
Yeah. So, I mean, this year I've been training full time, but up until last July, I was completing my law degree in the UK. And while I was there, I was still allowed to train with the university team, which is quite nice. And I think one thing that stood out for me, which perhaps I don't see as much in Malaysia, would be that as a para swimmer, I was still very much included in the university team. I was training with the able-bodied athletes, albeit with modifications to my training set because I'm most definitely slower, than my teammates. And even in like the national competitions there, the university games, they would have para categories as well. And I was going up against, the Team GB
Mm.
Paralympians, their own para swimmers as well.
Is it the usual faces that you will meet in the upcoming world champ? The same
I mean, if I
faces?
get to go for world champs, then yes, some of them are, the usual faces. So I think the way the UK has been able to integrate para sport with able sport is something that I hope Malaysia will be able to do in the future instead of having such a big separation between the two. Yeah.
So what kind of make you think that there's a big separation between able body and para?
I mean, in general, we don't actually see the para categories in like MSSS, MSSM. It's not something that's discussed, even if there isn't a category. And I've heard stories from the younger swimmers from state where there have been issues with registering OKU students in these kind of competitions. So yeah, the fact that I'm still hearing these kind of things, that means there are problems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Fred, and back to you. What is your hope on, what can society do to support para athlete?
Um,
What do you want? I mean, the community to support you guys.
Kalau bagi saya punya tu, jadi saya nak yalah bagi macam lebih lagi lah macam sokongan terhadap atlet para ni, dan bagi galakkan lah pada macam orang yang ada yang atlet yang belum lagi kena apa macam
Mm-mm.
tentang yang Paralympic ni dia ada sukan tersendiri lah seperti yang sebelum ni lah dia punya, dan tak payahlah tak payah rasa macam, dan semua orang boleh
Yeah, you
pergi
want the balance
Yeah,
of
yeah.
people getting know you guys.
Yeah.
It's not it's not saying the fame. It's just you guys deserve it. People to know you guys
Yes,
better,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Do you have anything to add on his point?
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with, having more sokongan, more just, I think recognition is not so much fame. It's to recognize that para athletes like us, we put just as much effort as the able-bodied athletes.
Yeah.
And yeah, just to have that same recognition. Yeah.
All right. Okay, Fredin, can you share with the audience, when do you started this career? Because I heard you've been in the team quite, since 2006. Is that true?
Ya. Mula dulu saya pernah dekat remaja para Asia yang dikatakan Pacific Youth Game dulu dekat Hong Kong, China, dan dari situlah saya punya start dalam karier dalam renang para swimming, para ni kan. Dan yang setelah MSN buat satu program dia dan melaksanakan turnamen dan saya start daripada 2009 lah sampai sekarang dalam program tersebut.
So, so what is your highest achievement so far?
Yang paling saya pernah dapat satu pingat emas dekat Gongsau, China, dan saya dapat book of record lah tentang punya rekod tu sekali.
Asian Games?
Bukan para Asia yang
Para Asia. Para
itu
Asia.
yang paling
Okay.
tinggi sekarang.
So it's a different name like
Ya,
Asian Game and Para
Asia
Asian Games.
yang
Okay.
ada China kan, dekat China dulu.
Alright. Okay. Take a deep breath. Relax. Okay. Relax. You are not in the pool. This is a chill place to talk. Okay. So as one of the senior in the team, with the new faces right now, what kind of program do you think that can be executed to find more talents in the future? I don't think 10% is not enough in the team, right? We want more. Exactly, like maybe in your category we want another 5. Your category we want another 5 talents. So what kind of program do you think can be executed?
I think the most important thing is to have consistency in terms of, because from my understanding, like we see there used to be a lot of circuits where they would invite all the different para swimmers across the country to come and compete alongside us, the senior swimmers. So we also go in, it's like a time trial, but it's also a good opportunity for the new younger swimmers to be able to have like a stage to compete in.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, recently with budget cuts, it's not been as consistent, or sometimes there will be cancellations because there's not enough staff, there's not enough resources to be able to host these kind of local competitions. So I think consistency is something that we need in order to ensure that when we're looking for new talents, we're putting our efforts like consistently, as opposed to like 1 year we're desperately looking for new people, and the next year we just focus on the senior members of the team. Yeah, it has to be ongoing.
So on your part, Fredden, what do you see the future of para swimmer in Malaysia? Since you are, the senior, I mentioned a lot of, senior because you guys are the most. It's not old, it's just like experience in this in your sports. So what do you think about the para swimmer future in Malaysia?
Okay, sebab memenangkan dia untuk kehadapan lah untuk para
To moving forward.
atlet ni, dia lebih perlu macam benda yang untuk something untuk kita perlukan tu adalah
Exposure.
kita tambahkan lah untuk benda tu supaya kita lebih yang bantuan ataupun sokongan yang untuk ke arah yang lebih cemerlang lagi lah dalam punya, kalau nak atlet para ni nak ke depan lagi jauh daripada yang sekarang ni kan.
So so the question is, you mentioned about the budget cut. So if the budget cut, is that mean that if you want to go by your own, are you allowed to do that?
I've never tried, but I don't know, because from I know we are not allowed to register for our own events in like different competitions, because there's like a password and like a user link thing where only they have and we don't. So yeah, even if we wanted to, we can't.
So like back then when you in the university, so you said you compete with able-bodied athlete, so that one is just
That's separate. It doesn't go into the world rankings, because the most important thing for us now, and the reason this year we've been sent overseas so many times, is because as para swimmers, we need to be able to compete in sanctioned meets so that our timings go into the world rankings for qualification purposes, for like to qualify for Hangzhou and even Paris. So to be able to compete in those events, you need the password, the
the
username,
password.
and things that we don't have. So,
okay.
yeah.
Now I understand.
Yeah.
All right, we have heard a little bit about their experience and moments We will take a short break and return immediately. Stay tuned with Sinar Daily Sport Matters.
Rewind. Back to basics. Rewind. Back to basics.
You pergi compete mah.
All right, guys, we are back. So remember that I mentioned about the contest. If you want to win RM200 ringgit of Al Ehsan voucher, this is brought to you by our telco partner Red One. So the first keyword of the day is para champions. So para champions. Make sure you collect 3 keywords. So this is the first keywords, and you need to drop all the keywords in order, and then just crossfing if you can win. Okay, let's move on today's topic, achieving targets. Okay, every athlete has their ritual before the games begin, right? I mean, just imagine you are at the starting point of this pool. Okay, I want to know what is your weirdest ritual before the game? What usually you do? Maybe like, put on some lotion. Yeah, can you share that moment?
Starting blow tu kan.
Masa tu.
You
Like what's the weirdest lah you
Ah.
rasa macam pelik sangat you buat sebelum you masuk air.
Tapi biasa saya akan buat macam ambil air lepas tu.
Oh, it's like splashing to your body.
Lepas body dah apa rasa kan, dan rasa suruh dan breathing apa, dan untuk breathing energy punya lah, untuk ke masa tu ke tengah nervous, dan itu yang kita buat sebelum start. Dan fokus.
How do you rate your nervous? Like every time at the starting point, like over 10,
Yang tu
like 10 over 10, 9 over 10. Is it
tak rasa nervous punya.
is it something that you can't overcome
mesti
it?
ada nervous punya.
Mesti ada. Okay.
Tetap ada punya.
How
Yang
about
mesti.
you, Carmen?
Recently, like the one weird ritual that I do is that I because I'm adjusting the starting block, and to make sure it's not like shaky, I hit it quite hard. So I slap it to the point where like I get blisters on my hand from slapping the thing, but it like I guess it kind of distracts from being nervous, like that the pain.
Oh,
Yeah.
so after that you will focus to to
Yeah.
swim forward. Okay. Is there something mascara you apply before your game? Waterproof mascara? No.
I tend to wear quite like obvious earrings.
Oh, you like earring?
yeah.
Okay.
And I have my nails done every time before I compete. So
That's the
those are the
common.
things that I do.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
for cyclists, they like to do the hair. So as you can see on the the world champions, they always dye their hair like red color, blue color, something they dye according to their flags, right?
yeah.
Okay, so let's get back to today's topics. Okay, in October, you guys will be competing in Asian Para Games in Guangzhou. So, this game is the second largest game after Olympics,
Ya.
and I know it's hard to qualify in
Ya,
Olympic.
ya.
I understand.
Sangat susah.
So far, what is your plan with the training? Do you guys plan to focus on breaking more records, because you guys break a lot of PB this time, right?
Yeah.
On the Cambodia. So is it something that can be done in a short period?
Saya yang kalau memenangkan yang yang keempat kali lah saya akan pergi nanti, dan nak target yang tinggi sangat tak lah. Tapi memang untuk sasakan untuk dapat kepingat saja untuk pergi situ.
So you mentioned this is your fourth time. Is it
yeah.
the all 4 times you compete all gold?
Nah, yang satu saja.
So you started with maybe silver and then you retain gold medal
Yep.
until now.
Yep. Ada yang nak gold medal memang susah nak dapatkan kan. Dan nak dapat pingat saja itu nak dapat ke medal saja.
So in Southeast, you guys mentioned Indonesia and Thailand is, you know, some kind of rival. If in Asia, is it same?
Sangat
China.
jauh lah.
China, right?
Sangat jauh. China, Korea, Jepun dan
Yeah.
semua yang Asia Tengahan dan Kazakhstan dan
Oh, okay.
India semua dan semua tu akan turun. Yang tu sangat
So in your category, swimming, there's a lot of, you know, there are various of events named like 50-meter backstroke, breaststroke, S8, S16. Can you describe like what is the category like exactly? Because for me, I only understand for athletics and cycling.
Right.
Okay.
But for swimming is a little bit different, and you know, can you get me better understanding on the particular event?
So there's S1 to 14. S1 to 10 is physical disability. So for example, Freyden is S10, which is what we would call the least disabled.
Oh, the least disabled. Okay, okay.
So it gets more serious as you go down the numbers. I'm S8, so it's not that serious either. Then S11 to 13 is for visually impaired, so different degrees of blindness.
So they don't need someone to guide them, right? They just Still.
Yeah, some of them need the guide, so they tap. They use like a stick to tap their heads.
yeah, it's like a horse riding.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the last one is S14, which is the intellectual impairment.
Oh, intellectual
Itu
impairment.
dia.
So your is the list. Like yours, is it that they divided into like, okay, some of the para athlete have, how do I say that? Some of the athlete got the impairment because of accident and some congenital. Are they separate them according to that, is or just the things that you mentioned?
No, it doesn't matter how you got your disability because, like Freyden, he got it because a tree fell on his foot. I was born with my disability. It doesn't matter how you got your disability. They just, when they classify you, they just, like, for example, they take measurements, they look at your X-ray scans, and they watch you swim in the water.
Okay. So usually how long it takes to, you know, to do the assessment? Is it before the game or you have to go through like certain championship?
Kalau dia bergantung kepada kejohanan. Kalau ada yang macam kita IPC untuk swimming, dia akan kepada, kalau kita pergi ke macam para ASEAN ni, dia akan pergi, dia akan bercek. Macam kita pergi ke World Series pun dia akan ada. Itu memang
Assessment.
Ada lah. Yes.
Assessment. So the
sebelum kompetisi itu dia akan tengoklah dia punya klasifikasi macam mana kan.
Yeah, before you compete, there's like a period where you do classification.
is there any chance that athlete can transition to this one category to this one category?
Ada. Dia kalau macam saya dengan kawan dan tak boleh, ada yang macam wheelchair dan dia ada dia boleh bertukar.
Is it including someone that has a prosthetic leg or prosthetic arm?
Yang pasti dia takkan
Same.
yang
It will
wheelchair,
remain the same. Like for us, because we don't have our limb is very permanent.
Takkan dia macam mana lagi.
Like it doesn't grow, but
it's confirm lah. Ada yang kena review balik lah, dia kena renew.
The ones that go under review is like
lah setiap.
if their muscles degenerate or it's less obvious or they're paralyzed from the waist down.
Because for some, if you mentioned about the visually impairment, for some of them they can get, you know, the certain time they can get blurry.
Yes.
From time to time with the chlorine and stuff.
Oh yeah, definitely. So they have review periods.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Freden and Carmen, you've been into the swimming team in different era. So you are like the most senior, super senior, and you got into the team in what year?
2015. I'm the second most senior.
Yeah, right now, right?
Yeah.
So for you, what are the major game changes that took place during your time? Because since you guys joined different years, is it the program still the same? The the produce of new athlete, the way they train you, is it the same? Can you share with the audience?
I can start, but I think Freyden will have more to share because he's been on the team a lot longer.
Mm-mm.
But like I guess since 2015, like I think now they I can see that they try harder to send us overseas. Perhaps because it is required that each country sends their athletes to World Para Swimming sanctioned competitions. If not, your timings don't go into the world ranking, and it doesn't matter how fast you swim. So I guess recently we've been sent to more overseas competitions that are not just like the ASEAN Para Games or the Asian Para Games. But in general, I would say not that much has changed because like our coach has been with us for the longest time. Especially the national head coach. She's been with us since almost when I started around
Yeah.
2016.
Yep.
So I mean, clearly it's working, right? The results show that the athletes are doing well. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So on your part, back to you. Do you feel that something need to be improved on the training program?
Macam
Like as in, you know, your sets, your effort, your gym training. Is there something that you wish to change
okay.
or you
Setakat,
wish to improve?
setakat ni bagi saya dia macam ni, dia bergantung kepada kita siapa yang jurulatih lah sebenarnya tentang, sebab kalau planning ataupun apa yang telah dirangkakan jurulatih untuk atlet dia, dan kita bergantung kepada itulah untuk ke mana dan di mana kita masa apa time nak dapatkan kita punya prestasi yang baik lah.
yes.
Dia lebih kepada jurulatih, dan kita sendirilah macam mana nak buat dan planning macam training waktu dia dan gym dia macam mana.
Yeah, because back several years ago when I stay with you guys in Kampung Pandan,
Ya.
that time you are still in UK, I think.
Yep.
I saw them training 4 a.m. in the morning.
Ya.
They
Yeah.
still do.
Yeah, still.
I don't, they
Yes.
do.
Because
Masa sekarang.
every time I woke up to get my breakfast, I always bump into Kak Li Peng.
Oh, yeah.
Kali.
Yeah. And then like, oh, you just finished your training? Yeah. It's like 4 a.m. Yeah. Yeah.
Ada.
So it's that time that thing is so interesting to know because we can, you know, allocate time anytime if we want to work harder to
Yeah.
achieve that targets, right?
Nombor tu.
Okay. So for Carmen, when you in UK, so do you contact with a Malaysian coach or you just stick with your other coach?
I do update them, especially the national head coach, because ultimately she's the one that will be talking to MSN, to ISN,
Yeah,
to the Paralympic Council the most.
to back up you, right?
Yeah. So I mean, I have a good relationship with her, and yeah, I still keep her updated. And I mean, she's the one that's in charge of me during competitions because none of my coaches can go, since they are my own personal coaches. So, yeah.
So how the overall pressure that you guys been through as a athlete? Because you've been doing more than 10 years. So yeah, what's the overall pressure? How do you overcome? How do you reflect?
Sebab mana ni? Yep.
I guess like in terms of our overall pressure after all these years, I think if anything, like the longer you are on the team, you tend to be able to control the pressure a lot better, or how you handle it.
Because you experience it, right?
Yeah.
Uh-uh.
Like even when we're disappointed, we don't tend to show as much emotion anymore as when we were
Yeah,
younger.
yeah.
Like we do see our younger teammates. They, you can see when they're sad, when they're very very happy, or when they feel like they've not done enough. Like we can see how they respond. But for us, it's like we still feel the pressure. We still
Yeah.
feel all of it, but I think we are able to control our
Control.
Yeah, yeah.
emotions a bit better.
Do you go through like some of, we call it back in MSN, we call it psychology training.
Mhm.
Do you still do that until
Ya,
now?
still masih lagi.
So what is your mantra? What do you usually tell yourself before the game? Like, I can do this. Like, I need to do this. I need to get goal. Freden. Or maybe
Yalah,
you just
saya
see,
macam ni saja. Saya punya dia apapun yang kita buat dan kita betul-betul macam bersungguhlah dengan benda tu dan kita betul suka dengan benda tu. Itu saja.
so you have to be passionate.
Yeah.
You have to love the sports.
Ya, sangat.
How about you, Carmen?
I mean, similar, but I think I also have this thing where I tell myself like I'm not gonna lose. I don't want to lose.
Eh?
I think any athlete will tell you they don't like losing, so that's something we remind ourselves like, yeah, I'm not gonna lose. I'm not gonna lose to this person, and that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
When you say it enough, you're gonna believe it, and then you're gonna do it.
And then you're gonna achieve it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, in your opinion, let's move on about in the coaches sector. In your opinion, what role does the coaches have in assisting athlete to flourish in the future? What your opinion?
I think it's very important to have a good relationship with your coach. Especially, you have to be able to trust your coach. And it's even better if your coach understands not just your sporting career, but also your personal life. Because as much as we are professional athletes, we also have lives beyond swimming, right? So if your coach is able to understand you as a person instead of just you as an athlete, I think that would help you the most, because then you will have that connection. You would be able to have the same goal, and you can both work towards the goal. Yeah.
How about you, Freden? What do
saya-
you think about what
Saya-
role coaches can have?
Saya pun tak banyak beza daripada Carmen punya tadi, yang dia punya pendapat dia kan, dan dia memang betul, dia macam
You have to be close with the
ya
coach.
dengan coach dia saling inilah, kita bonding dengan coach ni, dia saling understanding lah sendiri sama kita lah, supaya apa yang kita nak buat atau perancang lebih smooth lah, supaya lancar lah. Itu saja.
True.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. We are at second keyword of the day. Okay, take note. The second keyword is awareness. Okay, awareness. So if you want to win 200 ringgit off Al Ihsan voucher, the first keyword is para sport. And a para champion, the first keyword is para champion. Second is awareness. Okay, so let's take a short break and we will be returned after this.
Red White, back to basics. Red White, back to basics.
Iyalah.
All right, we are back with Sport Matters. Okay, we are back with Sport Matters. Okay, let's moving on. Okay, Carmen, what are the best lesson you learned in your sports? Have you ever imagined yourself winning a Paralympic Games?
um, I think step by step, I have imagined myself winning like in the Asian Games because I have not won in the Asian Games yet. And I have imagined qualifying for the Paralympics. So until and unless I qualify for the Paralympics in Paris next year, I don't think I will be thinking about getting a medal in the Paralympics yet.
Qualify first, then
Step
win.
by step, yeah.
How about you, Freden?
Ya,
Have you ever imagined yourself or dream about winning one of the medal in Paralympics Games?
ya memang setiap atlet para mana-mana pun atlet para dia akan tetap memang mengidamkan
Mm.
tak kisahlah pingat apa pun janji dapat
Olimpik.
pingat dekat yang tertinggi sekali seperti Paralimpik untuk kita para atlet, dan saya pun salah satu pun tak lari daripada benda tu. Memang saya akan ialah mengidamkan dan ingin menambahkan satu pingat dekat sukan yang berprestij lah, yang besar macam tu.
Because it's a prestige
Tapi,
sports.
betul sport.
Okay, guys, can you share about how to qualify in Paralympics, as in like your sports?
So basically, there will be a qualifying period. It started on the 1st of January this year. So that's when we can start trying to qualify for the Paralympics. And basically, the upcoming World Championships, that's when the first 2 slots for every event will be given out. So the gold and silver medalists for every event will be given 1 slot for the Paralympics. Then next year, when the qualifying period ends in, I believe, maybe June or July, that's when they will look at the world rankings, and they will usually take the athletes that have qualified, that have met the MQS timing. So basically like the Olympic A cut, and they will take those athletes, and those athletes will qualify. But sometimes not enough people will meet the A cut because the A cut is usually very difficult. It can, like, say only
Yeah.
10 athletes might meet the MQS. That's when World Para Swimming will look at the rankings again, and they will take the top 16.
Oh,
Yeah.
so is it you have to carry the points?
No, there's no point system for us. We just basically have to swim as fast as possible, and our times will be
Timing.
100%
ranked.
timing.
Ya,
Yeah.
yes, memang untuk timing saja.
So right now in the world, what number are you?
Oh. Eh, dalam 50 ke 50 macam tu lah, 50.
Top 50, top 50.
Ya, lebih kurang lah.
How about
Jauh
you,
sudah.
Carmen? Carmen?
My highest rank now is, I think, 11th.
11. Okay, that's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. So we'll see.
So yeah,
Bagi dia
so
masih lagi,
let's
ya.
switch this to qualify Olympics, because the last time I watched Branda and Shaiful, because on their side, is it the same way they qualified because of the time?
Yeah, it's all time. But
Ya.
sometimes with like the lower categories, like S1 to maybe 4,
Ya, ya.
there are lesser athletes. So
Lagi
Easy
sometimes
to
easy lah.
qualify.
I mean,
Sebab
it's not
timing dia,
easy, but
ya.
in that sense,
Just
they
the luck
allow
is
more.
there.
Sorry.
The luck is there. We can say that.
Maybe, I mean, they work just as hard. It's just there's lesser athletes.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
all. Yeah.
All right. So okay, I know this is like too early to predict for Paris 2024. So what can we predict for Malaysian contingent, especially para teams? Can we bring more gold medal?
Kalau ikutkan memang boleh lah saya nampak memang ada dapat lagi. Boleh tambah lagi gold medal.
Yeah, I think so. Based on
Yes, sebab,
their rankings.
ranking.
In swimming, I mean, I hope
Yeah.
that
There are more people
There will be.
qualify.
Yeah.
there will be more people
Yeah, yeah.
qualifying this
Okay.
year, but we'll see because do we have a road to go program? Ada
Mana?
road to go program? Tak ada,
Yeah,
right?
road to go.
Yeah, because we
RTG.
don't
Yeah,
have a
belum.
program.
So like right now, you guys are in Podium, or as my era, we call it
Yeah,
Kita
yeah.
Juara
Juara,
and
yeah.
Podium. And right now, they're using what system or what name?
Dia macam teal tu kan.
This podium kan?
Dia podium dia macam sama saja kan podium.
Yeah.
Sekarang dia dah ada beza dah. Ada yang dapat ni dapat macam dapat.
Oh, so
bidang emas,
it goes
yang
back
lain.
to the tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, yeah.
I
Yes,
think
yes.
so. I think it's somewhere
Yeah,
like because
yeah.
all of us they just put senior,
Yeah.
senior podium.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Overlap.
there's a lot of
Yeah.
Yeah.
new names that we
Yeah, we don't
what's
really
going
know.
on inside.
Yeah.
Okay. Before we proceed to the next block, this is out of topic. What meal do you have for breakfast every day?
Hmm.
It's not an icebreaker question, right, Freden? You have to
Kita
open up.
Pemakanan
Still
swimmer
shy.
ni dia jumlah dia memang banyak lah dia kita makan. Tapi selalu selepas training lah.
So what kind of
Breakfast.
food do you like?
Hmm.
The most favorite food? Is it fruits? Is it vegetables?
Roast duck.
What do you like?
Dia lebih kepada macam bread macam tu lah.
You like bread?
Bread lah.
Is it white bread, multigrain, wholemeal?
Selalu dia white bread lah.
White bread.
Yeah.
Okay. You, Carmen?
For like breakfast.
Yeah. Or maybe any part of the day that you're binge eating, just share.
I'm not very good with breakfast. I've been told, so I sometimes don't eat breakfast.
Oh, you skip.
I guess the easiest will be bread. We eat
Bread.
a lot. Swimmers eat a lot.
Yeah.
Sebenarnya memang banyak kita makan.
A lot of
if you
carbo.
see us in the games village, we are the ones that take the most food. Yeah.
So actually, our retail partner Aeon Big together with Sinar Daily, they have a contest for our audience. So they call it Malaysian Heroes Favorite. So all you have to do, audience, all you have to do is listen to our guest favorite diet plan. Just now they mentioned they like bread. Okay? And then list them down. Maybe you guys can add another 2 other than bread. What do you guys like?
Banana.
Banana, yes. That is a common answer. You?
Macam
Strawberry?
dah macam
Milk.
milk
Milk.
then macam
Egg.
eggs.
Yeah,
Eggs
that's the
dan
common
banana.
like carbo, protein,
Yeah.
and milk. You got everything in one plate.
Yep.
So all you have to do is go shop the food that they mentioned just now, which is bread, banana, milk, eggs, and then create in the most creative way, like photos, a video, and then send it to your IG, and make sure your profile set to public. And don't forget to mention Sinar Daily MY and Aeon Big. And also hashtag Aeon Big and shop and post Aeon Big. Okay. All right, guys. Other than that, let's focus on your nutritional plan.
Okay.
So I know in the athlete village, in the camp training, they serve a lot of foods. So usually, do you guys have any specific diets according to your event, or you just
Padahal saja. Setakat ni dia kalau dia bergantung kepada seseorang dan macam common dia punya macam makanan dia sendiri dan dia takkan sama macam tak
it's not the same lah.
Not the same lah
So
memang.
like you,
Feeling.
is it you eat according to your allergies ke?
I'm not that strict with my diet. I was for a bit because our dietitian Belle
Ya.
put me on a diet to lose weight.
Yeah. Okay.
And I believe you met her a few weeks ago.
Bijak.
Yeah.
But in general, no. I think we just try to be a little less unhealthy towards competition. We eat less fried food. Maybe like, I know we have this thing like right before we compete, we don't want to eat so much either because we don't want to feel heavy. Because we eat too much, then we feel heavy. Yeah, and I mean, she's always reminding us to ensure that our protein intake is enough. That's basically it. We're not particularly strict with
All
our
right.
diets.
Okay. Thank you for your share. Okay. So taking back your moment in Cambodia, inside the athlete village,
Okay.
what type of food they serve you? Do you think is something that they can do better?
Bagi saya lah memang dia punya tempat situ memang entah cukup lah bagi saya, tak ada masalah pun tentang makanan dan penginapan dia. Bagi saya memang
So you think is everything
Apa
is like good?
good lah itu saja. Tak ada
banyak
banyak.
komplain.
Aiden doesn't really complain,
Yeah.
to be fair.
So he's a good person. How about you?
No, yeah, I actually think like they did a good job. It was very clean. We didn't have any problems in terms of cleanliness. The variety was pretty good. And yeah, they were all generally quite healthy. I mean, you yourself, obviously, you have to be able to choose wisely. You don't just eat all the
Yeah, because
say-
there's a lot of types they
so that's
get
like
ready.
a good variety. So if you take like all the fried food, then obviously it's unhealthy. But in general, if you know what you're doing, if you balance your meal properly, like whatever they provided was more than enough. Yeah, they did a really good job in Cambodia.
So taking back the moment while you're doing your events, how long is the gap for every event? Like you join 3 events, right?
4.
4. Okay, you join 4. Friday 6. So like one day, how many games do you need to do? How many round?
Dia bergantung kepada macam acara dia dah di apa? Ada
Schedule.
dijadwalkan.
So they have the start list.
Kalau contoh kalau saya satu hari tu kena 3 acara dan 3 acara tu lah kena dan compete.
So during that time, if it back to back, how do you guys manage? How do you guys find time to eat?
Dia ada masa dia ada tertentu lah, macam dia akan jadualkan dia macam satu tahap dia akan kita berhenti ke situ dan rest dan akan disambung
So
balik lah.
there are gaps between the event.
Dan acara tu pun dia ada jarak dia untuk yang seterusnya lah, dalam satu contoh dia macam tu.
Alright, how you, Carmen? Is it
Uh,
same as Friday or just?
Yeah, I mean, it really depends on your luck on the scheduling, because I know some of the Malaysian swimmers, I saw them literally come out of the pool and then they have to walk one round and then they will have to get ready for the next event. So it depends. I was very lucky because mine was like at most I had 2 events in one day, and they were like one was in the morning session and one was in the afternoon. So you'd be able to eat in the break time, or say if your event is back to back, then at most you just take like a power gel or a power bar and continue. So it depends on your luck. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, guys. Okay, we are at the third keyword of the day. Okay, third keyword of the day, last chance. So make sure you got all these 3 and put it in the correct order. So the first one is para champion, and then second, awareness. Third is last chance. So if you want to win RM200 of Asean shopping vouchers, drop these 3 keywords now at our comment section below. This is brought to you by our telco partner Red One. Okay, so we are almost at the end of the show. Freden, are you still nervous? This is more hard than games, right? This is more hard than your championship.
Ini yang paling suka saya pernah buat daripada saya bertanding.
Good job. Okay. Uh, this is both of you.
Okay.
What are your hope in Malaysian sport scenes?
Paling baik.
Uh,
What are your hope?
uh, okay. Well, I think just having the support and recognition,
Yeah.
because like for example the Asean Para Games, I know it's not as publicized as
Mm-mm.
the SEA Games. So it will be nice, for there to be more awareness and more recognition for the para athletes.
Mm-mm.
But also at the same time, like I hope that the people of Malaysia are just generally a bit more empathetic about like towards athletes, because um, it's one thing to support us when we're winning, but to also be there for us when we're not, because regardless of whether we're winning or losing, we're still putting 100% effort. And I don't think it's fair, especially what I saw during the SEA Games. I don't think it's fair for people to continuously trash the athletes for, say, underperforming when, you don't really know their sacrifices. You don't know that, even if they're not winning, the effort and the training that has gone into to prepare for the games has still been the same, or if not more. So yeah, I hope that the support um, will be with us regardless of whether we're winning or whether we're losing.
All right,
Yeah.
thank you, Freden. What is your hope?
Harapan saya dah kepada yang berkenaan tentang kita punya untuk para atlet ni, dan kita sama-sama bila kita dapat naik podium, dapat emas, dan kita sama dalam lagu negara aku kan, dan tak ada beza dia dengan apa pun. Dan saya nak daripada sokongan tu macam tak ada beza lah, dan sama je untuk
Yeah.
untuk para atlet ni lebih maju dah ke depan, supaya cemerlang dalam sukan masing-masing lah, apa yang disertai untuk acara dia orang punya.
True. No worries. I always support you guys. No worries. I
Because-
always keep updates about you guys all the time. Okay. So we are at the end of the Sport Matters today. I'm so happy to have both of you in the studio today. Thank you for your contribution and sacrifices. I hope you guys can win more. Okay, please win more. And everybody, stay tuned for more episode of Sport Matters. Thank you to everyone who watched this. Make sure you are following Sina Daily on all your social media platform. That's all I have today. I'm Adila JSM, your host for Sports Matters. Bye bye.